down to the local level.
Yeah, that's been his biggest challenge so far. I think, to me, the statement from the president that sort of sums up the mood of the administration right now: we've been patient, but patience is wearing thin. So he's now moving from strong recommendations to actually requiring, and I think this was the big one, requiring all employers who employ 100 plus or more to get the vaccination. So that's going to be the one that certainly is going to draw a lot of interest and will be talked about a lot.
Or a negative test. That's
or a
the
negative
thing.
test.
You know, we kind of have this backup plan. If you can't get vaccinated, or you absolutely won't, you will have to get weekly tests, negative tests. And that not only goes for the larger employers, the 100-plus employee businesses, but of course, he's basically laying it out for the entirety of the federal government now, even down into the schools that are federally funded and the federally funded school programs. That's kind of how he's getting that little push down into the local level. He
gave numbers. Over 200 Americans have had at least one shot. With what the president is recommending here with his 6-point plan, he's saying that this will encompass 100 million people. That's not necessarily 100 million more people, because many people that already work for corporations, 100 plus or strong, have already been vaccinated. But what he's hoping to do is kind of catch those that have slipped through the cracks so far in a lot of different sectors and get them vaxxed. Right now, we want to bring in Monica Robbins. She's our senior health correspondent. She's been listening to President Biden as well. Monica, your quick takeaway.
You know, again, 6 points. This is not surprising. I really felt like I was getting yelled at by my grandfather on this one. And, you know, this is big pressure on the unvaccinated, and not unsurprising considering the impact that Delta is having across the country. So the vaccine requirements you mentioned, 2 executive orders requiring all federal workers and contractors that do business with the federal government must be vaccinated. No more testing opt-out. He'll ask the Department of Labor to require businesses with 100 or more employees to ensure their workforce is vaccinated or have a negative COVID test once a week. The requirement could carry a $14,000 fine for each violation, according to NBC. And he also wants to require the majority of healthcare facilities that will require staff to be fully vaccinated as a condition of Medicare and Medicaid reimbursement. That would definitely impact university hospitals and Cleveland Clinic that so far do not have mandates in place. Then let's talk about testing. He wants to make testing more accessible. Walmart, Amazon, and Kroger will start selling at-home rapid tests for no profit for the next 3 months. That means a 35% price cut by the end of the week, likely. And Medicaid will cover at-home tests for free. The federal government will expand free testing to 10,000 pharmacies. And then now let's talk about schools. He's going to call on schools to set up regular testing and offer funding for those school districts, mainly in the South, that had state funding cut for having mask mandates. He's also going to require 30,000 Head Start teachers to be vaccinated, and he is going to call on governors to require vaccinations for teachers and school staff. We're going to have to wait and see what the teachers union says about this. He's saying, of course, that teachers support this. We'll have to wait and see what happens here in Ohio, and if Governor DeWine is going to step up and take that action as well. Back to you guys.
All right, Monica, thank you so much. All that insight. I mean, it just is kind of the gift that keeps on giving when you look at it again. The president mentioned whitehouse.gov has this all laid out. It's actually pretty organized when you get on there and you see all of that.
Yeah, if you have any questions, we've been on the site. It definitely walks you through all of the 6 major points, whitehouse.gov. You're going to be hearing a lot more about this in the coming weeks, particularly as these employers now carry out the president's orders in mandating their employees to take this vaccine. Again, the president calling it a pandemic of the unvaccinated, and also saying we've been patient, but our patience is wearing thin.
And there will undoubtedly be challenges coming as well. And one of those challenges was mentioned by the president himself during this address. He specifically said large event venues like sporting events and whatnot, places where a lot of people are going to be congregating, he is urging them to require testing for admittance.
Yeah, he stopped short of actually saying, you know, I want to mandate that because obviously his powers do have limits. But it was the message was clear. If you're the Browns, if you're the Indians, if you're an entertainment venue where you're having large number of people come in, you need to take steps and you need to take actions to keep the public safe. And on that note, 3 News investigator Mark Namick joins us now to talk about that. What's changed since last season? Because last season at this time, our cases and our numbers were not where they are now, but we were told we can't go to games, we can't go to concerts, we can't congregate in large numbers. Last weekend, I saw on television many stadiums with 80,000 plus fans all in one area.
100,000 fans expected to gather at the Horseshoe this weekend for the Ohio State home opener, though there in Columbus there is a mandate from the mayor to wear a mask on indoor spaces. That means walking around that stadium in those indoor spaces of the Horseshoe, you will have a mask on. That's not the case here in Cleveland and next week at the Browns game. Last year, just 12,000 fans at home games got to enjoy the team they waited decades to see. That's when COVID restrictions limited the capacity at First Energy Stadium to less than 25%. Next weekend, the Browns return home, and that's when 67,000 fans are welcome back. And now, you know, thanks to the vaccine and no health restrictions, they're coming in. The Browns say, though, hold up a bit. They're excited to have fans back, but they are urging fans to get vaccinated and wear a mask at indoor spaces around the stadium.
Everyone wants to feel like we're back to normal, but guess what? We're really not back to normal. There's still a lot of precautions we need to take to keep each other safe. Everything we learned last year, everything is so fluid. You got to be flexible. You got to stay up on what the CDC recommendations are. We're over a week away from our home opener. A lot can happen in a week and a half, so we're going to really keep our ear to the ground.
A lot could happen, and I think he's telegraphing there, Jay, that we're going to see perhaps some more health orders or something else coming down. You know, and to keep crowding down, the team is encouraging people to use the apps, to get through the gates quickly, to do all the mobile stuff that you can, going cashless. We're going to see that everywhere. Part of that's efficiency for them, of course, but also to keep people out of close contact.
All right, very good. We're going to continue to watch and wait. I mean, you just heard it. Everybody is waiting to hear how this thing changes. We didn't expect a month ago our numbers were nowhere near where they are now. So, you know, we have to continue to watch these and see how high they're going to go. The Browns, by the way, say they're following the CDC guidelines, and those right now, it's just guidelines. You know, I mean, they're not mandated to do anything that they haven't already done. They'll continue to monitor that situation. I'm sure they'll be flexible like everybody else.
But the takeaway in his comments is we're listening, things could change. That's what we learned last year.
Yeah.
The NFL will have a lot to do with this. They're going to wait and see what happens over this first week.
Yeah, I think what really rings true is he said a lot can change in a week and a half. Boy, if this pandemic has taught us nothing else, we know that. It certainly can.
Thank you so much, Mark. Great insight there. Coming up, Jimmy's going to join us, talk about the Browns, and we'll have a look at the weather forecast, too. We'll be right back. All right, 5:40 right now, and I think a lot of folks were really enjoying the beautiful weather this afternoon. Then all of a sudden, those clouds got a little dark, started to get some rain in here. And if you still have plans to head out this evening, boy, that radar app is going to be so helpful for you as you go around. Don't forget, our WKYC app has the radar right inside of it. You can take it with you. But for now, we're going to go 2 green thumbs up to be outside. Temperatures generally in the 60s. And yeah, over the next few hours, we do have clouds. We have those random showers around. But later tonight, we'll find all of that starting to settle down. We'll be clearing out, and it is going to be chilly, friends. Temperatures tomorrow morning likely to be in the low and mid 50s. There's a look at the radar, and there is plenty to see at this point. You can see the scattered showers that are coming in from northwest to southeast. These are instability showers. Cold air aloft, warm air at the bottom. That creates instability. And so we continue to watch these showers. Occasional rumbles of thunder coming from north to south through the area, too. And we'll zoom in just a little bit here. And you can see that there are some areas where we have some heavier downpours, maybe even the possibility of some small hail mixing in. But once they come in, they start to fade. And you can see they're not really long lasting. They're not going to continue through the overnight hours. This is just basically daytime heating doing its thing. And you can see it's all associated with just a little wave in the atmosphere. That's why there's a line all the way out to the east end of Lake Ontario there. But this wave will pass south of us, and then we really will start to clear out as we get into the overnight. That being said, we may still have some clouds and a random shower or two, maybe a sprinkle into the morning tomorrow, mainly east of Cleveland. A lot of the heavier weather is off to the east coast, and west of us we are dealing with clear skies and warmer temperatures. That's coming in the longer term forecast. But National Design hour by hour forecast, a few showers lingering through the rest of the evening. We'll go partly cloudy in the overnight with isolated sprinkle chances. A lot of that is just coming in off of the lake. But morning temperatures in the 50s. We'll see some sun. You'll see the clouds bubbling up in the morning, but then drier air really starts to punch in. High pressure starts to suppress things, and I think we go with a lot of sunshine tomorrow afternoon. But once again, temperatures are going to be on the cool side. Here's your Union Home Mortgage outlook. We'll be in the low and mid 70s tomorrow morning, clouds giving way to afternoon sun. 80 and sunny for Saturday, mostly sunny, and mid 80s on Sunday. Summer is not over yet because we stay into the 80s as we head through much of next week. We'll bring back hit or miss rain and storm chances, especially Tuesday into Wednesday. Jay?
Love that weekend forecast. Looks outstanding. Oh, there is that music. And you know, I think scientists will tell you that anytime you hear that music, your heart rate is expected to go up by about 10%. At least that's mine. NFL football back tonight. The 2021 season officially kicks. You'll see it right here on Channel 3. I don't know how good the game's going to be because the Cowboys are down, the Buccaneers, the defending Super Bowl champs, but it's 2 marquee teams, and it's football, and it's real, and everybody's going to be watching kickoff at 8:20 right here on Channel 3. All right, and on that note, let's bring in the voice of the Browns, Jim Donovan. The Browns don't play tonight, but that's where all eyes will be Sunday when they're in Kansas City to play the Chiefs. Jimmy, I'm ready to play this football game right now. I think the players would tell you they'll go to a parking lot and kick this thing off right now. We've been waiting so long because this was the team that ended our season last year, and we get to start where we ended a year ago.
You know, isn't it a long offseason no matter what happens?
Brutal.
Was it a long offseason when they were 0-16? You bet it was. But it was a longer offseason when they were 11-5, and there's so much optimism about the way it's going. All right, the countdown is getting closer now to completion, all right? The Browns, another day out on the practice field today, another day without Jadeveon Clowney, still under the weather, but he will play on Sunday. They're confident of that. But it's another day with Odell Beckham Jr. working well, and I think he's going to play on Sunday. And I don't think he's on a pitch count either. I think he is ready to go. The coaches today saying they can't believe the burst of speed. I know he's ready. Kareem Hunt going back to Kansas City once again. Remember, he was a third-round draft choice there. And a guy I found today, his readiness was in his words. Were in his words, I should say, because he was a little edgy. Jarvis Landry wants to get it going, and he feels his offense and his play in particular, they can go up and down the field with the Chiefs and anybody else.
You know, I think the biggest thing is just minimizing mistakes, minimizing pre- and post-snap penalties, being able to score in the red zone, being able to win our one-on-one matchups, being able to beat zone, all of the things that, you know, you think an offense will be required to do. And if we do those things inside of this offense, you know, we can be very successful.
All right, now listen, let's put it out on the table here. Kansas City's got a pretty good defense, okay? It might be a little bit better than that. And the Browns have rebuilt their defense, and I think it's going to be a good defense. But this game's going to be a track meet on Sunday.
Yeah.
They're going to go
high
up
score.
and down. I think so, yeah.
We were talking earlier, it's the best game on the schedule.
It's the best
all weekend.
game. It's the best game on the schedule. Quick note for everybody. The AFC North has just taken on a totally different look with the news today from Baltimore and Pittsburgh. First, Baltimore, riddled with injuries going into practice today. 2 devastating injuries today. Marcus Peters, one of their best cornerbacks, arguably maybe their best cornerback, and running back Gus Edwards. Both went down on consecutive plays with what appears to be torn ACLs, which would take them out of the year. Remember, they had already lost running back J.K. Dobbins earlier in the preseason in the first game. That really cripples the Ravens. From Pittsburgh, T.J. Watt and the Steelers have come to an agreement on a contract extension. It's big. It's $120 million plus, and it's $80 million guaranteed.
He's earned that money.
He has earned that money.
He's played terrific.
You're absolutely right. But the division is coming to us, Jay Crawford.
It is. Doesn't it look like it?
Right there.
We were talking earlier in the newsroom, so many years, all the things, not just with the Browns, but with the other teams, always went against Cleveland.
I know.
And you never want to see injuries, particularly injuries that end a player's season. But I think you can probably throw John Harbaugh onto the injured list because I think he has strained vocal cords from screaming.
Yeah.
I mean, on back-to-back plays, Jimmy.
Back-to-back plays.
Devastating injuries.
Absolutely. I mean, it's right there, everybody. Okay, and it begins on Sunday afternoon, and there is an air of quiet confidence out there. I will leave you with that.
I like that. And by the way, Beckham in his breaks, quick, decisive cuts. There is no hesitancy on that knee.
It's amazing.
All right, Jimmy, thanks.
You got it.
Bets?
100% for a cure. Some of our coworkers are writing miles and miles this weekend to help fund cancer research. We'll hear their stories coming up.
Plus, spreading some cheer to kids stuck in the hospital. We're going to show you who teamed up to make this special day happen.
We are raising money for cancer research for Cleveland Clinic. 100% of all donations going for valuable research, so important. And right now, when you make a donation to Velosano, which is what we're doing here, it's going to get doubled. Gross Residential is a company that's doubling all donations. You give $100, it turns into $200. And why are you donating for cancer research? Because Claire definitely has seen results from cancer research, and you are in the process right now, a cancer journey that started, what, 6 years ago, Claire?
6 years ago, yeah, I think there's been 4 surgeries for cancer, 30 different radiation treatments, and next week will be around 94 of chemo. So
chemo.
Yeah.
And you are a ray of hope is what you are, Claire, because you are ready to ride, too.
That's right.
You're going to be riding Velosano. It means swift cure in Latin. And that Velosano, it's a biking event where it's not a race.
Nope.
But people are raising money for cancer research. 100% of all donations goes to Cleveland Clinic Cancer Research.
Right.
And why is that so important, Claire?
It's super important because all that money goes straight to funding projects that then are prepped to go after the big money grants. So if we didn't have this Velosano money to fund all this research and go after the big money, we wouldn't find the cures that we need for tomorrow.
In other words, your donation is going for cancer research that could save Claire's life and so many else.
Yeah.
So many other people that are dealing with cancer. So please make that donation now. It gets doubled. So please help Velosano, support cancer research. Simply go to velosano.org/WKYC. It's a day of giving for WKYC. You can text GIVE to 216-344-3300. Claire, thank you so much for sharing with us. And thank you for your generosity.
Yeah, we have been counting down to this year's Velosano ride. There's so much excitement around this year because we've got so many folks that are doing it. Saturday now is the big day. It's finally here.
And today, 3 News is partnering with the Cleveland Clinic to do one final push for donations. 100% of all dollars raised goes directly for cancer research at the clinic. Sarah Shookman is our team captain for us here on WKYC. She joins us live from Mall B. Sarah, that is where the action is going to be this weekend.
Jay and Betsy, you can see they're setting up behind me. The tents are up. I'm just down the mall here from where you just saw Joe. This is where the start and finish line is going to be on St. Clair, and we are excited. Team WKYC is 38 riders strong this year. I'm so impressed. And, you know, over the past year, we have seen some of our coworkers, as well as so many individuals in our personal lives, be impacted by cancer. And that is why we ride.
I'm riding in Velosano this year to raise money for cancer research.
I'm riding Velosano for my mother and grandmother.
For Kathy, my great papa, and anyone else who has cancer.
I'm riding Velosano not for any one person in particular, but for all of us. Cancer has touched so many of our lives, and we have an incredible organization right here in our own backyards, the Cleveland Clinic, that is working hard every single day to help bring an end to cancer. So if there's something that I can do to make that work just a little bit easier, I'm gonna do it.
I ride to support my family and friends and to find a cure for cancer.
I ride Velosano in memory of my Aunt Kathy.
I'm riding Velosano to spread Scott's smile in honor of my dad, Scott Sherman.
I ride for many reasons. The main reason is if a bike ride can save someone's life, my family, a friend, someone I don't even know, that's why I ride.
I ride for hope. I ride for research. I ride for a cure.
I ride for Velosano so that future generations won't have to. The fight against cancer is something that unites all of us across Cleveland, Northeast Ohio, the United States, and even the world.
I'm riding for my dad. Estamos contigo, papi.
I am riding in memory of my papa, Richard Zappa. We lost him 13 years ago after a very short battle with lung cancer. I'm riding because my hope is that one day families don't have to go through what we went through. They get more hugs and more time with their loved ones.
I'll be dusting off the bike once more to pedal with a purpose. I'm riding in the Velosano to help raise money for cancer research at the Cleveland Clinic. Why do I ride? For those who can't.
I ride as a tribute to my grandfather, Vincent Capana, who died from leukemia when I was just 11 years old. My hope is that through research funded by donations to Velosano, that no other 11-year-old has to grow up without his grandfather.
I'm riding 50 miles in memory of my grandma and my Aunt Marie and all my other family and friends who've been impacted by cancer.
As I prepare for my 6th Velosano ride, I've thought a lot about the people who inspire me. I ride in memory of my cousins Lisa and Diane. I ride in honor of my friend Shannon. And now I ride in support of my friend Leah as she prepares for her cancer battle.
This year, I'm riding in Velosano for my Uncle Keith, who 4 years ago was diagnosed with cancer and is still battling to this day. Every dollar I raise is going towards cancer research and putting an end to this terrible disease. I love you, Uncle Keith.
Hi, I'm riding Velosano for my wife, Katie.
I lost one of my favorite coworkers, Derek LeBeau, to cancer less than a year ago.
Dawn, who also works with us, is battling. Frank, George.
It's a horrible disease. We need to find a cure, and all of us coming together will make that happen.
I am so proud of our team, and we want to say thank you to all of you who have already donated. They've already raised more than $3.4 million for this year's ride, and it's really easy to donate today. The website is velosano.org/WKYC. You can also use your phone's camera to scan the QR code that you see on the screen now. That will open the link right on your phone. You can text the word GIVE to 216-344-3300, and we'll text the link back to you, or you can make the phone call. It's 1-844-394-4438. Jay and Betsy, I think the weather's going to deliver Saturday, and I just can't wait to be out here with the rest of the riders.
We are so proud of all of you and what you're doing, and thank you. Thanks for doing the ride. You know, there's a lot of folks that can't, and boy, you guys are really making a message for everybody. So thank you.
Sarah, thanks and good luck.
It is awesome.
We'll all be with you.
Thank you.
Coming up next, today a very special day, not only for all teddy bears out there, but for these kids too. We're going to show you how NASCAR played a role in spreading some needed cheer today.
We're coming to you live from Mall B, downtown Cleveland. Behind us, Velosano is getting put together here. Velosano is a biking event that happens on Saturday to raise money for cancer research for Cleveland Clinic. 100% of all donations goes to cancer research right here in Northeast Ohio. It's so important that you donate now because your donation is getting doubled. A company by the name of Gross Residential is doubling all donations. And why are we doing this? Because cancer affects us all. Either you're watching this, you yourself have been affected by it, or family and friends. What do? You feel helpless, right? You can give, and you can give on this day of giving, and we're asking you to do so. And we're getting some great stories right now. Christina Flowers, who works at WKYC. Yes. Christina, what do you do?
I am an executive producer for our What's Next show at 11 p.m.
And you are awesome.
Thank you.
And you have been touched personally by cancer.
Yes.
Tell us your story.
Yes. So I decided to ride this year. Shortly before receiving the email asking for riders, we found out my father was diagnosed with prostate cancer. And so I just looked at it as a sign that I should do something. And riding a bike for 10 miles, I could totally do that. I'm a former athlete, so, I just decided to go ahead and sign up and join. And my mother's also a survivor. She's a breast cancer survivor, too.
Christina knows firsthand, and sometimes that helpless feeling. You don't know what to do. You rely on the wonderful doctors and nurses and the people in the medical profession doing this, but you as a family member say, what do we do?
Feel helpless.
You donate. You donate, and when people can ride like Christina.
Yes.
Powerhouse. You know what? You can actually fund this entire process by making a donation right now. Velosano.org/WKYC. QR code's right there on the screen too. You can text the word GIVE to 216-344-3300, or you can dial 844-394-4438. Christina, thank you so much.
Thank you.
And thank you for your generosity.
And Joe, thank you. If you can give, please do. Now to our Show Us Something Good. The NASCAR Foundation and Colleague Giving spread some cheer to kids stuck in the hospital today. This is the 5th annual Speedy Bear Brigade. It took place nationwide and right here in Northeast Ohio. It's in honor of National Teddy Bear Day. They passed out 5,700 Speedy Bears to kids in 50 different hospitals. And I guarantee you there were smiles everywhere.
Every bear represents a whole lot of hugs, so that's good.
Absolutely. We're out of time. Back tomorrow at 5, and we hope to see you then.
What matters most with Russ starts right now.
Now at 6, pandemic plan.
This is a pandemic of the unvaccinated.
President Biden unveils some dramatic new steps to try to slow the spread of COVID. Monica Robbins has that, and she'll break down what it means for you and your family. Also, Brown's offensive.
Everyone wants to feel like we're back to normal, but guess what? We're really not back to normal.
Mark Namick explains what the Browns will do come the home opener to try to keep everyone safe. The Lone Sailor, a unique honor coming to Cleveland to recognize the heroes of the high seas. And Riding for a Cure. Velosano begins in less than 48 hours. We'll check in with Sarah Schuckman about ways you can get involved to help find a cure for cancer.
From the WKYC studios, this is What Matters Most.
And good evening. I'm Russ Mitchell. Some major news from President Biden tonight in the war on COVID.